I'm here at my kiddo's school today and we're going to do some fun science this afternoon. And so the experiment we're going to be doing is we're going to be making rainbow droplets. And so the materials you'll need are baby oil, and I just get the dollar store kind because baby oil can be kind of expensive. Some plastic cups. You want to make sure you have completely clear cups for your experiment, but you can have these kind of frosted ones for just mixing. And then you're also going to want to have some food dye. Now the thing to keep in mind is that you need to make sure that the food coloring you get is regular food coloring that's soluble in water. Okay, so you want to just make some food dye colors, make them kind of dark, and you're going to add some baby oil. You don't need a ton. Right. And then have your stuff ready. And then the fun part, get some dye. I'll try to get it close as I can. You get these nice fun droplets, and they all separate. And the neat thing about it, it looks like peas there, doesn't it? The neat thing about it is that all the different colors will be separated. So you'll have your greens and your blues, and they're just gonna separate nice and neat. Now if you wanted to do this the other way around and have oil be added to water, just make sure that your food dye is soluble in oil, right? Because this regular stuff you buy at the grocery store is not soluble in oil, it's only soluble in water. So if you want to go the other direction and add your oil to water, just make sure that the dye you use is oil soluble and not water soluble, because otherwise you won't be able to dye the liquid, the oil. It'll just kind of sit on top. But the neat thing is, it doesn't really matter how quickly you add it. You can get all kinds of fun different sizes in there. Now I'm using a minimal volume of oil here just to save, but I think it's a fun experiment, especially for the preschool age, because it's very qualitative. And so with your older kids, you can get into the chemistry of why is this all separating? And the reason for that is hydrophilic and hydrophobic. So the oil is nonpolar. That means that it has no positive or negative ends on those molecules, whereas water is polar. That means water has a partial positive and a partial negative. And the polar molecules and the nonpolar molecules, they don't want to be around each other. So, long story short, you've got oil and water, which do not mix. And so, sometimes if you have a contrasting color, like a blank sheet of paper on the bottom, that helps you see it. And like I said, if you had a major layer of oil thicker, it would show up better. I'm just trying to use minimal volumes here for the video so that I can save all my oil for doing with the kids. But if you mix it, you can ask your students, what's going to happen when I mix this? And you can mix it really intensely, or you can mix it kind of wimpy. Either way, right, you might get the colors to blend together, but the oil and the water are going to remain separated. And those balls are getting bigger, they're combining, because we want to, the water molecules want to be as close to each other as possible, and the oil wants to be as close to its self as possible. So you might have a whole bunch of little tiny bubbles for a few seconds, and then they start eating each other up, because they want to get as close to each other as possible, so that we're minimizing the interface between the oil and the water. So it's a fun experiment. Again, once you mix it, your colors kind of all go together. But it's still fun, qualitative experiment that I know a lot of age groups will enjoy. And I hope you enjoy it too.